Nice, nice. So let's get moving and introduce this all-star panel that we have today. So leading off, we have Nick Friedman, CEO of College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving. Chad Coatney, CEO of Master Movers and also one of the founders of Moving Titan Retreats. Jonathan Caldwell, CEO of Black Tie Moving. Stephen Reed, CEO of Big League Movers. And moderating the Fireside Chat today, we have the awesome Wade Swikle, CEO of Two College Brothers Moving, and also one of the founders of the Moving Titan Retreats. Now, we also have a bonus segment at the end of the Fireside Chat who will be popping on at about 3:45 today. It's fellow home service titan Tommy Mello, which will be answering all of your private equity questions. And gentlemen, welcome aboard. I am personally excited to hear what y'all have to say today, and I'm sure our audience does as well. So with that, Wade, it's time to get after it, and let's answer some of the burning questions that our audience has submitted to us and will be asking to us throughout our time together today.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. I'm excited to have you guys. Welcome, panel of awesome moving company owners. Let's go ahead and kick it off. The first question I have is for my most recent podcast guest, Nick. And the question that I have for you, Nick, is amidst the challenges of this business climate that we're all currently in, what strategic decisions or adaptations do you feel were the most critical in not only surviving, but positioning your company for future growth?
Yeah, look, I think it's, first of all, thanks for having me on. Excited and honored to be with my fellow industry peers and Titans. It's cool to be part of this group. Obviously, the wind has not been at our backs the past, call it, year and a half, 2 years. Interest rates being up, inflation being somewhat out of control. So we've intentionally been focusing on what we can control, right? When it's snowing in a football game, it's snowing for everybody, not just one team. And so you may not be throwing a Hail Mary when it's snowing out in a football game. You may be running it up the middle and focusing on the possession game. And that's really what we've been doing. And what I mean by that is, getting back to some of the basics of execution, making sure every lead gets contacted and followed up with, making sure we're not letting things fall through the cracks, making sure we're managing margins much more diligently, especially with the way costs have inflated over the past couple of years. And we feel if we can get better at those basics now, we'll be much more positioned to capitalize if and when things turn. Or maybe this is the new normal we all have to deal with, and we just got to learn how to operate in these conditions and not just hope that it's gonna change next month or next year. Not relying on outside external factors to make or break us, but really focusing on what we can control, and that's taking care of every customer, every lead, making sure our team is tuned up on executing the business efficiently, and just the basics. Sometimes we lose sight of that when things are going well, and we take those things for granted.
Love it. Anybody else have anything to add to that? Okay. Well, moving along then. Good answer, Nick. I love that. All right. So this question is for JC at Black Tie. And I want to know, what strategies or approaches have you found most effective in ensuring consistent and enthusiastic adoption of internal marketing initiatives across different levels of your organization?
Awesome. Great. Wade, thanks, by the way, for having me on. And what an awesome panel, man. I feel like the least of these right now, but honored to be here, man. Appreciate it. So, I feel like if I have a strong part of my DNA, it is a communicator in many different areas. As a hostage negotiator in one part of my life, as a SWAT guy for years, and different things. So I've learned to communicate in some pretty high stress situations, and that internal piece, I will say, that is something that Black Tie has really started to focus on, is our team, right? And I feel like when I come on something like this, I just want to have my team here with me and behind me, because they're such a vital part. And as we have tried to shift and move, and great answers, by the way, in this climate we're in, we have really started to focus on just that communication piece. We're always good at communicating to the customer. We're very forward facing. We're very upfront with them. Don't want any surprises for them on move day, right? We all know that. It's moving 101. But what about our people, right? I read a book one time, and it was talking about how our employees are really our number one customer. And if they're not on board and if they're not happy, so we have just went into over communication mode, honestly. Whether that be app based, our text threads between the guys, keeping our company small as we operate in 7 or 8 locations now across the country in an interstate division. That's been the hardest part of me, just being able to speak to everyone collectively. And so as we try to do that, we have an internal newsletter now, which I thought would not be well received, and the guys love it. Right, we're featuring a different GM, or featuring a different mover when guys have a baby, when they buy their first house. I mean, it's really started to kind of take on a life of its own, and so that's been a big piece of communication. And then just making sure that we're diligent about first trying to put ourselves in their position, in their shoes, and communicate effectively from their spot. Like, what is this going to change for them? How will it affect them in their daily lives, at their house, with their families? What might that change be, right? Whether that's a time change of detail in the mornings, or whether that's a pay difference or a change, or how we're going to calculate something. We just go above and beyond now, making sure that that's communicated, and never get tired of explaining it as many times as we need to explain it, and sharing that in full transparency. When we lose our team is the minute that they think we're trying to hide something from them, or keep something from them. These are adults, they're functioning, they're the backbone of our industry and of our companies collectively. And so we communicate quickly, effectively, and clearly with these guys, and make sure that they fully understand. It's not always good news, right? I wish it was every time, but even when it's bad news, they know when they're hearing it from me that there is no ulterior motive behind it. And there is no smoke and mirrors. They're going to get it exactly as I heard it, and as I'm trying to relay it to them, they're going to get it clean and clear.
Love that. And going on that topic of internal marketing to your team, this question's for Stephen Reed. And Stephen, can you share how you've used internal marketing to transform big league movers when you decided to refocus on becoming a hometown dominator and basically working to dominate Memphis?
Yeah. Thank you, Wade. Thank you, Super Move. Thank you, Move and Tighten Up. I'm an OG Titan. Glad to be here. Changed my life. I'm going to spend a little bit of time answering this, if you don't mind, because as Wade and Chad know, and if any podcast you've listened to that I'm on, my friends call me the Memphis Mumbler. It's a curse and a blessing. It's generational. My old man, he has the mumble. His old man has the mumble. All right. So I'm told that it takes about 6 minutes for people around the nation to understand what I'm saying, and then also add to it that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to especially the moving business. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of fluff for a few minutes. That way y'all can actually listen to the stuff that might be able to help our companies in our industry. I'm the owner of Big League Movers, loud and proud, Memphis, Tennessee. Started with $1,000. I had a partner that had $1,000. Different story, different podcast. That was expensive lesson. But I started with $1,000, and this year we're going to be right under $10 million. This is my mouse pad I use every day. This is Vistaprint. Y'all might recognize it. Some of y'all might know that there, right? I started with $1,000. This was on my 2002 Nissan Altima that I was driving around trying to shake everybody's hand I could in the city and tell them what I was trying to do. I think that's important in hometown dominating conversation is your city. Memphis is my city. You don't talk to me without knowing it. Loud and proud. I love it to death. I'm here to talk about being a hometown dominator. My goal is dominating my hometown. I'm crazy about this topic. Memphis, Memphis, Memphis is the most beautiful land in all the city. I'm sure. I'm not sure what's going on with the tourism, guys. But if y'all could start coming here a little more, you'd see you'd like it a little more. But we have 1.3 million in our metro. The people born here are grinders. You know them. Elvis, right? Aretha Franklin, B.B. King, right? Even throw in a little Justin Timberlake. You got Dolph. Every one of those people came from nothing in our town in Memphis. But if you read anything about them, if you study anything about them on day one, whatever they were going to put their mind to, they were going to be something different in this world, and they were going to be the best in this world. And that's what we have in Memphis. We have a chip on our shoulders when we're born day one, and that's my hometown. And that's my love. And I know I'm getting to the question, but I kind of wanted to explain who the heck I am on this call with these great people. So I love the city. I know the city, and the city loves me and respects my grind. That's what I am. I'm a grinder, and the grind will always win in Memphis. And I know that's the case. Here's how I'm crazy. So a lot of people dream of my situation. I grew very fast. I grew in Memphis. I grew with $1,000. I ran up the company. I moved to the big city in the South. I was going. I was about to be the Southeast Slayer. Some gentlemen respectfully are on this call doing, and I love it. And I realized that's not what I wanted to do. I was a hometown dominator, and all of a sudden my business grew me. I didn't grow it. My business grew me, and I ran down, and my business kept growing in Atlanta. All of a sudden my family was in Atlanta. I was smiling in Atlanta. What got me there was Memphis, and that company was depreciating while I was moving forward. And after all my reputation in my hometown, my heart, my employees started depreciating and getting disgruntled, I made a crazy decision, and I said, I'm going to fire sell Atlanta. I think with my network, with my time, I can spend my resources in Memphis, as crazy as that sounds, and make more with my time and have work-life balance with my family. And so I made a decision to fire sell a growing Atlanta company and go back to hometown dominating. And that's a little bit about me and why I'm here. So on that story, I came back and I put that fire sale money in my people. I came back with my movers and I said, men, I want you to choose for me to be on this call. Our plan is the hometown domination, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. There are no raises at this organization anymore. We did a whole training. We rented out the Penny Hardaway. Shout out Memphis Tigers, right? That's the grind right there. Doing it the Hardaway. But we rented out the Hardaway Auditorium. We did all the, I did my standard in a day. We did who the heck is sales and what do they mean here? Customer service, driving, and I set my standard again. And at the end of the day, I told my team, if we're all the hardest workers in the room, kind of like JC's Challenges team, right? If we're all the hardest workers in the room, imagine what we can do if we do this together. And I want y'all, I want to be the hometown dominator. Right. And right then I said, I want to give my hope in you guys because I believe in you guys. And I'm asking you guys to give your hope and believe in me because I'm going to give you an opportunity through this you didn't think you had. And I am here because my men got 5-star reviews. Google me right now, Big League Movers. You're seeing they're pumping them right now. They are proud. They are running all over town talking about Big League Movers like it's theirs because it is. It's theirs to grow and the platform's there forever. So that's how I use my internal department. My culture is everything. My men are everything that provide the service. And those are the guys that will not let me lose hometown domination because the service around me is never going to be what they're giving it because they're giving it like I am. So thank you, Wade. Sorry, I'm passionate about it, right?
I love it. Nick, do you have something on that?
Yeah. So first of all, amazing responses from Stephen and JC. Just three things that I would say is, number one, in the absence of information, people make up their own assumptions. And so, communication cannot be overemphasized. And I've heard it said, people have to hear things 7 times to hear it the first time. There's a tendency to feel like you said it once, you don't have to say it again. But just like marketing, people have to see your brand or impression multiple times for it to even, resonate. Same thing with your team members when you're, communicating with them. And, look, the other thing that I think is a common thread that we heard from JC and Stephen is they view their team and their leadership as a blessing, not a burden. And I can't tell you how many times, whether it's in our franchise system or business owners outside of our industry, not just in moving, where the common complaint is, the people aspect of it. And at the end of the day, we are if you're a business owner, you're in a people business, no matter whether you're a service or a product or retail or what have you. And so if you take the approach as the leader that this is a blessing, this is a gift that we're imparted to lead and to empower and to train, you're going to create that culture through any climate, and people are going to want to be part of that brand. So I think that's critical, and I saw that thread in both those answers.
That was awesome. No, thank you guys both. And Steven, I didn't hear you mumble one time there, so you're getting better.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
I heard him loud and clear.
All right, Chad, this one's for you, buddy. Chad, as you may know, is the owner of Master Movers down in Venice and my partner in the Moving Titan Retreat and Tighten Up training. And this one, I'd love to know the answer to, given the challenge of a shortage in leads for many companies, and I know we've been one of them, how does your organization effectively prioritize and engage with the leads that you're getting to maximize conversion rates and capitalize on opportunities?
Sure. And thank you, Ryan, for putting this on. And those of you that don't know Ryan with Supermove, he actually owned his own moving company and he knows a lot about moving. And I actually have taken a few tips from him. But yeah, short of leads for me, that's a good one because we have always kind of struggled with a shortage of leads, no matter how much money we've spent on marketing. And we've always had to just kind of milk everyone for what it's worth. So typically, kind of when we started, I think it might have been the Louis Massaro program, but hey, we should estimate anything 2 bedrooms or less on the phone, and that's okay for people that have plenty of leads. But for us, we know the conversion for on-sites is about 60%. So we try to go out to every house we can, even if it's a 1 bedroom. We service about a 30-mile radius typically for something like this. But the reasoning behind that is even if it's a 1 bedroom, we want to go in there and we want to try to upsell them on some more services. So we want to, like, even if we're just going to move, hey, how about we give you a packing estimate? We'll break it down by room for you. It'll only take a few minutes. It's while I'm here. It'll be quick. And then if you get down to the crunch time and you can't get to everything, give us a call. We'll know exactly what materials to bring, and you already know what it's going to cost. So we try to upsell packing, unpacking, donation, disposal. That has really helped us maximize our conversions there. Um, we we train hard we train our sales team hard. We do 3 to 5 videos a week with Tighten Up training. We have one sales meeting a week. We have a scorecard for each salesperson so we can monitor their KPIs and their progress. And we always push them to be better every day. One of our core values is excellence, and we use the phrase Kaizen, which is getting 1% better every day. Super easy one. We answer the phone when it rings. Or if a lead comes in, we get to it within 3 to 5 minutes. We have our sales team answering from 8 a.m. to about 6 p.m. and then Move Bees picks up for us after that. And then we have them working the weekends as well. So if you're not answering the phone, they're calling somebody else right after, because I know I would do the same exact thing. So we always have the salesperson and the mover, even if we don't book the job or when the mover finishes the job, we always ask them, like, hey, who else do you know that's moving? We try to turn that one lead into 2 leads. And then another thing that we do is after we do book the job, my salesperson will text the realtor. You can find their information on Zillow or Redfin or whatever it is. We text them and say, hey, this is Chad with Master Movers. I just want to let you know that Mr. and Mrs. Smith booked with my company, and they said nothing but great things about you. If you need anything from me to make this transaction go smoother, just here's my number, my contact information. I'm here for whatever you need. And that kind of builds trust with the realtors and hopefully building a good relationship in the future. And then, I mean, obviously it's a strong follow-up process. You follow up till they die or they tell you to get lost. And we hit them every day. My guy actually yesterday, he had a customer since May that he's been following up with every couple weeks, every 3 weeks, and she just booked with us finally. I mean, now it was a $10,000 job, and now is more important than ever because things are sitting on the market a lot longer, and you just got to stay relevant because the other guys really aren't doing it. So that's how he got that job. But I would say just that's the way that we're trying to maximize every little juice we can out of the squeeze of every lead.
Love that juice, man. You're an inspiration to me. I know you're just far enough away to where we don't bump shoulders too often, but every now and then we do, and I'm always terrified when we go up against you. All right, so we have a couple questions here now from the audience, and guys, feel free to drop questions if you have them, if you're tuned in and you want to hear the speakers answer some of your questions. But this one's from Joe Marshall, and I'm going to toss it over to JC because I know that he is really good at this piece. Not that anybody else isn't, but curious to hear your answer, JC. What is the best method to hire and obtain new movers?
Oh man, gave me the live one, didn't you, Wade? Well, I tell you, it is a challenge, and I'm gonna give the super short answer, and then I'll follow up with a little more detail. Consistency, number one, and just literally never stop hiring. It's so easy in what we live in, which is somewhat of a seasonal business, to get into the winter, and we've got plenty of guys and still doing moves, but we're not just in that crunch, like the season brings. But we stop, right? We stop chasing the good guys. We stop going after the locations where they're having a difficult time maybe getting guys work. We've been blessed that even through down season, we typically don't do layoffs. We've got a pretty good machine rolling. So it gives us time at that point to top grade, right? And really keep our best guys. We always, every one of us do it, every company out there, we're going to add some guys that are new, maybe lower experience levels to get through the difficult and busy times. But man, if you can come out of the winter and moving back into season with an absolute killer core group of guys, you can add new guys, college students, people that maybe have not had the experience yet, and put one on a team of 3 or one on a team of 4, 2 on a team of 5, and now they're going to get brought up really quick. They're going to get that on the job piece of the training, and you're not going to see a drop in quality like you would if you just are throwing scrubs at things, right? So that's the why we do it and a little bit of the how, but honestly, we go old school. I've gotten pretty good, not that there's any great art to it, at writing Craigslist ads properly and our Indeed ads properly. And so those are still remain since the beginning of the company to today. Those would be the places where we still get the big top of the funnel and get just as many bodies in the door as we can. We all know that it's, between a 5 and 10% is going to be your net really on personnel from what you bring in the full net. So that's what we go at, those two. And then where we kind of drill down and get more specific is going out to our local coaches, our college coaches, our high school coaches, looking at guys that are looking for that summer work, keeps them in shape, keeps them moving. And they're going to make a lot more money with us than they will in a general summer job that they might grab. So really, no great magic. It's been that Indeed game and Craigslist, but the name of the game for us has been consistency. When we do it in fits and starts and stops and get heavy on it 1 week and then let it ride for 3, and you just lose momentum. So if we're keeping the name out there, then we start finding out we don't have to boost those ads as heavy financially on Indeed in those places. We're finding that our ads now starting to catch fire, and people are seeing it just on the regular wall and posting on Indeed and things like that. And that really helped us out a ton this last couple years, just to keep a more consistent crew and better guys. And this wasn't my question, but I'm going to throw it in here, Wade, because it's big for us. Keep the guys you've got, right? The ones you want. Keep the ones you've got. Man, I loved it hearing about our Memphis Maniac down here, right? Just I love the fact he said it's my men, my guys. How important they are to it. Man, if we lose sight of culture and lose sight of caring about these guys that are out here on these trucks when it's 110 degrees in Dallas or any of our locations, then we're on our way down. That's just a fact. When we stop valuing those guys, So that's been a big piece of it too, man. We want to slam the revolving door. And when guys leave black tie, we want it to be the ones we want to leave. The ones that aren't serving our customers at a high level and at a 5-star level, they need to go. That's a branding thing, and they're not delivering the level of service we want to deliver. But quite honestly, man, we've had less trouble hiring because we haven't had to hire as much. And we've got a better culture than we've ever had. And we've closed that revolving door just as much as we possibly can by doing exactly what they said at Big League. And that's just valuing the guys at a high level.
Love that. I love that. All right. So this next question is for Nick from Mark Hershey. What incentives are in place for your movers to succeed as well as the franchise owners?
Sure. Well, at the mover level, the team member level, I think you can never have enough rewards, recognitions, and contests. And it doesn't always have to be financial, although it helps sometimes. But there's a reason that people are addicted to video games and World of Warcraft and Candy Crush. It's because there's increasing levels of complexity. There's a scoreboard, and there's some sort of reward system, even if it's not monetary. There's a ranking system. And so I think creating a scoreboard, creating key performance indicators that help move the company forward, that measure the company's objectives that you're trying to achieve. And that could be things like conversion, satisfaction, or positive reviews, upsells, so on and so forth, no damages, safety metrics. You can have a contest every week, every month, whatever it may be, but it creates a level of engagement and alignment of furthering the company forward while also being able to reward and recognize top performers. So I think that's very valuable. And like I said, it doesn't always have to be monetary. It could be you think about before college football players got paid, they would get stickers on their helmets, and that's what they were, competing for, was to, who had the most stickers on their helmets. There was a brag tag component to it. At the franchise owner level, kind of same thing with us, right? It's, they're independent business owners, and so they obviously, they want to create a profit, and that's part of their incentive for themselves is a return on their investment of time and money that they put into the brand. But we also reward and recognize top performers. We do a annual retreat where we take the top 10 to 15%. This past year, we did all inclusive in Dominican Republic, where we've done kind of different reward and recognition trips and shout outs at our annual franchise conference. And so I think keep it simple to start out. Don't overcomplicate the rules of the game, but a simple scoreboard and some simple measurables that are important, that create alignment of interest, will create some fun, camaraderie and competition along the way as well.
Beautiful. Love that. All right, Mr. Memphis. This question, I think you're going to crush, because you are the self-proclaimed mayor of Memphis, at least in the business community, at least from what I see. I love talking about this stuff. Other than internet and Google advertising, what other things are you doing to promote your business and get in front of possible clients? And that's from Scott Brzezinski.
Yeah, I'm a hustler. If there is another moving company that is doing something, I am going to do it better and grind them out. I am going to study it. I'm watching my competition. I'm watching y'all are watching me right now. And I got my staff. We got a neighborhood kind of committee, and we're watching every neighborhood that is growing in our community. And we're comparing it to the leads that we have. That's one thing that we're doing. We're being a hometown dominator. So if somebody's gaining ground on us, right, we're seeing that, and we're going to attack that, and we're going to do it better. And that's kind of one of our game plans. One of the things that came from me, I'll give a shout out to Christy. Christy is was a new opportunity this year, and we decided that we were going to invest in our major lead sources. So hometown companies that refer us, realtor firms and things of that nature, we decided to use our resources. I have a wonderful team in the Philippines that's been able to help us administratively, so we can focus on coaching our employees to be that hometown dominator program. And through that, we have a lot of resources, kind of like Nick and JC have for being a little bit bigger. They have some great resources on their team. So we were able to kind of micro those and go to my local businesses around me, like some of the top real estate firms and local agents, and say, hey, I want to use my resources to market you because together we're growing together, right? And those are some ways that we have kind of been. What better way to be a hometown dominator is to ingrain with the realtor firms, the commercial real estate agents, the influences of your brand, than to grow with them. Let's get this together. We're in this together. Let's invest together. Another things, I guess, kind of do. We're creative. We're always watching those things. Every move that we have, we're looking at why are you moving, right? And we're studying that. And there are angles there that you will see that you didn't see before, right? Wow, there's this private equity company that just bought A1, and then all of a sudden they're sending people across the nation to buy other companies that they're doing. Well, hey, I want to talk to that HR department. Right? Hey, we just did this move for your employee, and I think we can make it a heck of a lot easier for people in the future for you. Right? We're looking for leads everywhere because if you do what you did last year, the market is 30% less or whatever it is every month, something less. Right? Your repeat business is not going to do anything. And if you have the same staff or less staff, like most of us, and they're doing the same thing, get under the turtle shell. Right? Because you have to do more than you did last year. You have to be hungrier than everybody in your market. And that's kind of just be open, be out there and look for how everybody's getting leads. Don't follow the moving industry. Don't follow your competition. Follow Tommy Mello. He's doing a damn good job. Right? He's doing differently than our industry. Look elsewhere for leads.
Love that.
Yeah,
And
I
if
can-
you are running Google, Miss Cobb, I am sure that Nick, you run a lot of Google ads, not only for your flagship location in Tampa, but a lot of your franchisees. And I imagine you have a lot of consultations with maybe not you, but your company with each franchise on how to budget the Google spend. Thomas Cobb said, how much budget are you allotting for Google lead sourcing? As far as simple math, for a $1 million location.
Ooh, I'll be honest. I'm disconnected enough from that to not have a good answer. I can research and get back to you, but I will say, Google has gotten more and more expensive over the past couple of years. It's very bottom of the funnel, and it's to Steve's point, the volume of the market has dried up a little bit. So we've gotten and had to get more resourceful on where leads are coming from and what we're doing to build the brand beyond just being there to get found. All right, there's get found and then there's find them. And so I apologize, I don't have a good answer. Would love to hear if others do have an answer for that, what to spend on Google relative to revenue. I will say, marketing wise, we're trying to target anywhere from maybe 10 to 15% of our revenue on marketing spend. It's gone up over the years because leads are more expensive. But that's kind of, I would say, a general rule of thumb.
Anybody else that runs
10%.
Google ads have any input on that?
Wait, I don't have any input on that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have any input on that, but back to Stephen Reed's question about some other places to find leads right now, kind of because we were very heavy in like buying from Google and paid or lead providers and postcards, but those things kind of dried up a little bit on us. So we had to kind of go to the grassroots, and we are in 3 different BNIs right now, about to be in 4. I'm in one myself. And, for those of you that don't know what BNI is, it's basically a room of 30 to 50 business owners local to your community. And your goal is to give each other work. So we've really gotten into those heavily. And also what we're doing with those is on Facebook, we are all joining these Facebook groups. Like for us, it's the Venice local group where people ask like, hey, I'm moving, who can you recommend? Or I need a painter or whatever. And what we do is we kind of team up and we all recommend each other. And that really helps bring in some leads for us. We've been hosting realtor events. We just hosted one for about 30 agents in Sarasota. We bought them food and drinks and rented out a little restaurant room. It cost us about $1,000, but I was able to put on a presentation. I got a lot of people to scan my QR code of my contact information, and we keep in touch. I'm hosting another one here in a couple weeks, and we're doing Realtors Against Humanity. So, we're trying to make it fun, kind of cut the ice a little bit. We've been doing a lot of cold outreach to like FF&E companies and interior designers. So I have like a couple of people in my office each week where they need to make 15 touches through either LinkedIn or Google. We actually picked up some work that way. We picked up a hotel job this year, which is going to pretty much save our summer. And we have been hammering the interior designers, and we've probably got about 6 or 7 of those right now that we receive for, we inspect, we store, we deliver. Just kind of like because the housing market has slowed down so much, we're trying to pivot and diversify a little bit. Um, and then for me, a lot of people may have already saw this, but for postcards, we kind of try to think outside the box and not just send your regular, whatever it is, 6x11 single postcard. We kind of do something a little more creative. We actually send like a roll of tape. It says "packing sucks, leave it to us," and it has a really frustrated lady on the front. Also try to get them to laugh, but those do really well for us. So that's some other ways that we've been generating leads that have been working this year.
Love it. What
When I
about you,
hear everything
JC?
about that, sorry,
Or
sorry.
Steven?
When I hear
Go
everything
ahead,
about
Steven.
that, it's hometown, Chad. That is hometown. That is doing more. Google, all of us can go to Google and do. What Chad is doing is more. What Chad is doing was everybody is not doing, and he's growing, and that's a key that I hear right there.
Love that. JC, you have a lot of locations. What advice do you give your location leaders or franchisees as far as Google spend, what their budget should be, and any other marketing strategies that you've found successful?
Yes, sir. So if you just went down the P&L, right, we're going to be 10% on the digital spend. And I'll call it digital because of part 2 here, but on the digital spend, meaning Google PPC, GLSA, SEO, all those things combined, we're looking at about 10% of total revenue in a given location. And obviously those are very different for us. Delaware is a new location, and it's going to have a very much smaller number than Dallas would, right? Our oldest location. So that's kind of that's the average. It's not the hardcore rule if we're trying to make something move, but that's where we live pretty much, is at 10%. But we do not make our grassroots efforts be part of that 10%, because we check the metric and the ROI based on what's the digital side doing, and is it giving us an ROI, and what is the grassroots and the ground game doing, and is it giving an ROI. So we try to budget over here separately for our GMs, because this was a big move for us, and it was we did not always have a GM in every location. We had an operations manager, and then we would try to manage me from 30,000 feet, and the other parts of the executive team helping with that. But we took a big move, man, a bold move, a little scary at first, and put a GM in every location. And our GM is also / biz dev guy. And so he has responsibilities, very limited in management, really. He's watching his team here, but he's going to have a good, solid operations manager under him. But that biz development guy, our GM, his main role is moving business forward in the community where he lives, back to the Memphis model, right? Of taking over that space where he lives and operates. And we put pretty hard expectations on them that we want to see between 20 and 30% of the total revenue of a branch in the month be directly from that GM, right? And I will tell you, guys, looking back at the last 2 years, if we had not made that decision, oof, we would have been in some rough waters, because those guys, and my gosh, I shout them all out right now as a collective group, they have made a massive difference in our top line and our bottom line, because those leads come cheaper, right? It does not cost me as much to host that realtor event, be a sponsor, get out and do a lunch and learn, get the QR codes, drop the boxes off in front of the house, put the sign in the yard, put a door hanger on. Those come cheaper than Google's charging us right now, because that market is so flooded. And everybody ran to that after COVID, right? Everybody was afraid. We got to get in there. Everybody's got it. So people that never advertised on Google went for it, because like a lot of us back in the day, we could sit back and we couldn't answer the phone calls. So many were coming in just off digital. Not that way anymore. and the price went up because everybody went to the auction, right? Google keywords are just an auction. And so if you guys go to an auction this weekend to buy some antiques or buy a piece of property, do you hope 100 people are there? Do you hope 5 people are there? I hope 5 are there, because I don't want the competition. What happened with Google is everybody ran there. And so it drove these bidding on these keywords up. At least that's how it's explained to me. I'm not an expert, but I will tell you the big difference for us, man, was hitting the ground again, like we were reopening our business and just going after it on the ground piece. And it has made a huge difference. And I could not be more proud of our GM team for just going out there, knocking on the doors, asking for the business, doing the in-home estimates, being at the realtor events, being present, being known in our community. And Wade, that has been a night and day difference for us, man. Best decision we've made in a long time. That was a big change for us.
I love that. And I have so many more questions I want to get to here today. All these guys are going to be speaking on a panel at the upcoming Moving Titan Retreat. You can come hear them talk, ask the questions from the crowd. They'll be hanging around the event. You can ask them one-on-one. I wasn't able to get to all the questions that came across, but I have more. I know a lot of you attendees have more, but we got to get over to Tommy Mello, because he is going to come on, and he's a true Titan of just business. $200 million garage door service company, shooting for $1 billion. If you've heard him on my podcast about a year ago, we talked a lot about a lot of this stuff, a lot of the knowledge on marketing and everything else. But in today's conversation with Tommy, we're going to focus it a little bit about private equity. Welcome, Tommy. Thanks so much for coming on to this webinar. I'm super excited to ask you a few questions and pick your brain here today.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Good attendees here. Great meeting so far. I'm actually in Canada visiting Dan Martell with my team, so I'm in a hotel room, so I apologize.
Nice. Love that. Well, Tommy, if you want to kick it off, and thank you to the other speakers. If you guys are welcome to stay on and chime in if you have any input on any of these questions too. But Tommy, what were some of the key factors that influenced your decision to pursue a private equity buyout over other funding or growth strategies?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I had a board of advisors. I think smart companies will form a board when they reach a certain pinnacle of success. And we didn't know how to have a board meeting, though. We didn't have, like, we look at financials, and it was a big brainstorming meeting, but we got better at it. And Tom Howard flew out to Phoenix, one of my board members who's really big at service side and also who has done big deals. And he took me and Bree out to dinner, and he said, look, the IPO market, when you go public, is cut in half, especially for software. He said, have you ever seen the Big Short, the movie? You know, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. He goes, once upon a time, I told you never to sell. During COVID, we were considered essential. If somebody got stuck in their garage with their car, they couldn't go to the hospital. So we got to still work. And as movie theaters and nail salons and bowling alleys and hotels were closing down, we stayed open, and our demand went through the roof. And so we went back to the apartment at the time, and we watched The Big Short. And he told me all the pros and cons, and he said, how much opportunities do you have to buy companies? I said, more than I could afford. I had a delayed draw term loan in place. And lo and behold, he convinced me after whiteboarding that night to do a deal. We were at 28 million of EBITDA. We got a record high multiple. And the process, there was 90 companies in the process. I think there was 82 and 42 bid on us. It was a competitive bid. We did our diligence. We paid $600,000 to get a study done on the garage door industry. We did our own quality of earnings, and we were the buyer. That's how we felt. We were the buyer picking the right PE company. You know, we were at 28 this year. We'll do 70 million of EBITDA, quite a bit north of 200 million, hopefully 270. We have an LOI, hopefully getting signed by Friday. And it's not all acquisition. There's greenfield growth, there's organic growth. But looking back, I have no regrets. My life has changed dramatically. My family's life has changed. A lot of people at A1 Garage Door Service, 25 millionaires came out of the deal. You know, one of the things I always explain to people is if you're going to use equity as a motivation, you've got to have a plan on when it's going to change control. And from now on in life, every company I invest in will have a 3-year plan for an exit. It doesn't need to be a full exit, but never again will I not be considering how to sell, because it's an asset. And when you understand what a business is, it's your best asset. I know that's a long-winded answer, but I thought that that's an important piece to bring.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great, Tommy. And I know you're super well versed in private equity at this point. For some of the listeners that might own a moving company that are considering exiting at some point in their career, which I hope everybody has some kind of an exit strategy. What exactly is private equity? What are the benefits that a moving company owner might see in going the private equity route versus a private sale versus like a roll up to private equity with other moving companies? Can you kind of explain exactly what private equity is to some of the listeners and some of the benefits of it overall?
Yeah, so private equity is a group of limited partners behind, it's a fund, and they raise money from pension funds and family offices and wealthy people. And usually there's lots of investors investing $1 million or $2 million. The new fund that I'm in at Cortec is 2.8 to 3 billion. And usually they'll invest in 10 to 12 deals. And they like to find platform founder-based companies. But unless you're over 20 million of EBITDA, you're not a platform. Unless you're doing it well in more than 3 markets, you've got economies of scale, you've got systems, manuals, standard operating procedures. Private equity will still go after any company, but they're going to make it part of the they're going to roll it under the platform. The companies that actually have the infrastructure. There's a lot of advantages to doing it because you could roll equity into the deal. If you're a good, the problem is with rolling equity with a smaller company is you're no longer the owner. You're now an employee. I'm an employee now. I'm the CEO of A1, and I still own just under half of the company. But I could get terminated if I really screwed up, but my contract's pretty strong. But it's nice because now you get the buying power, you get the infrastructure. A lot of people like rolling into us because they don't have to handle payroll. They don't have to handle onboarding. They don't have to handle the taxes and the call center stuff, the stuff that they really don't enjoy. They get to still work with their technicians, and they get to come into work and do what they love. And they're part of a bigger pie now. And typically private equity tries to do 3 or 4x returns. So, if we were at 30, we want to get it to 120 to get a 4x. Can you do more than that? Yeah, with arbitrage. So if you buy it for 6 and sell it for 12, you doubled the money right there with arbitrage. Our deal was so high, we don't feel like there's any arbitrage. And arbitrage is just you buy it in one market and sell it in another market for double, triple sometimes. But no, like I said, no regrets. And at private equity, there's good, bad, and ugly. A lot of times the PE guys, they don't understand home service. They don't understand home improvement. If they did do it, they would start it. But they're investors. They understand financial engineering. They need us more than we need them. They don't understand how to talk to blue collar people. They don't understand what it's like when someone wasn't raised with a mom or a dad. They don't understand what it's like. So I like to consider myself, I could talk to them at a high level, but I could also go back to A1 and relate to all my coworkers. So it's a great opportunity for the right people. But there's strategic acquisitions. There's a lot of different opportunities out there. I think a lot of people take the most money, but it's some type of fancy, crazy, really, really tough deal that they see. They go to just the highest bidder, even though these companies never pay out because they'll always find a loophole to not pay. You want to get with somebody that has a proven track record. You want to do your diligence. You want to make sure you're getting with the right partner that can scale with a proven track record.
That makes sense. And, when you talk about these companies that roll into the platform company that you've built at A1, what are you looking for in them? And if there was a moving company that wanted to roll into a platform company as a roll up, can they expect to get a higher multiple by doing that versus trying to sell on their own? And what would kind of be the criteria to be able to participate in a roll up like that, where maybe they can get a higher multiple on their EBITDA?
Yeah, it really depends on who the platform company is. Typically, the platform's going to have a really strong website. They're going to have strong marketing. They're going to have strong C-suite. What I like, it's almost like a franchise model where the platform's the franchisor and the franchisee would be a tuck-in. And that's what most of the moving companies would be. But they'd have access to purchase, much higher purchasing power. They'd have access to much deeper pockets with labor, nicer vehicles. It would be easier to recruit. And there you would have economies of scale. Think about it. A CSR in a small moving company might have 10 opportunities a day. An elite company, the CSR is going to be booking 50 calls a day. So you could pay them more money, but yet they can do 5 times the work because there's more phone calls coming in. You get this economies of scale at every level. And the idea would be in a moving company, you'd want to roll equity. So let's just say you roll 30%. That 30%, let's just call it $1 million you got. You rolled 300,000. The goal would be that next check you're getting for that 30% is more than that first 700,000 because you had $1 million, you took $700,000 home, you rolled 300. The next one I'd hope to bring home more than $1 million, but now you'd have some cash to work with. A lot of people are like, I'm never going to sell. Well, first of all, your employees are never going to win if you wanted to bring them in an equity incentive program or profit units or phantom equity. Number 2 is what about your family? What about your kids? You know, you're never really there when you own 100% of your business. You're at the baseball game of your son. You're on vacation, but you're thinking about work. Like this idea to have people that you could count on and go on real vacations, to like live your best life, to watch your kids grow up. I'll tell you the last thing I'd want to do, and I don't have kids yet. I'm planning on it. It's never a perfect time. I got to get married first. But, you know, for me, I feel like most companies should do that. No, I've sat down with a lot of businesses that are big business in HVAC. And I was at a table with 5 of the guy's sons. And he said, no, my sons want the business. It's a family business. And I said, I think you're fooling yourself. Could we just talk really cavalier here? Let's be honest with each other. I asked all 5 sons, would you rather have $5 million each and watch dad take $20 million and live his best life with your mother? Or would you rather take on the family business? They're like, we take the money and watch mom and dad all day long. He never had that conversation. Everybody's like, I want to give it to my kids. What if your kids, what if they want to do their own thing? What if they want to express their vision of life? Why should, and then people are like, no, I want my kids to take it so they can keep paying me because I don't have a business that's worth selling. So I'm just going to take part of the revenue and make sure my kids stay down and hold them into the ground. And I think that's really unfair to kids. So I think every business, imagine this, imagine you're going to sell your business in the next year. What would you do? Who would you fire? Who would you hire? What would you get rid of? Like, people should be thinking that today. How do I make my business look attractive? Even if you don't plan on selling, which if you don't, I completely disagree with you. I think it's a mistake. I think you should sprint as fast as you could, build the best company you could, take chips off the table, go through that process, learn what it's like, get the financial engineering, the education, and when you've got money, opportunities find you. You don't need a ton of it. Like, go on dream vacations. Actually have real time and a backup team that you could be gone for a month and shit still works right.
Love it. Let's switch gears for a little bit. You know, we're all kind of wondering what's going to happen with this economy. You know, you've got a lot of locations, a lot of moving companies here have kind of been through the ringer over the last year to 2 years since COVID. We've seen interest rates go up and business lead sources slow down. What are you doing to, go from what I thought was $200 million to closer to $270 million? How are you still growing in an economy that seems to be shrinking with a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt going on in it?
Yeah, well, here's what I learned about the stock market. Someone's always winning. Somebody's betting on it going up. Somebody's betting on it going down. I don't care if Kamala or Trump win. I'm going to win no matter what. Because listen, I make decisions quickly. Do you want to hear Elon Musk's #1 trait? Most people take a month to make a decision. He makes 30 minutes and implements it. Most people are so fearful. They run with fear. They're never working on themselves. I'm here in Canada right now, learning from what I consider the GOAT, Dan Martell, buy back your time. I'm always around really smart people. Somebody told me the other day, massive podcast I was on in Vegas. He said, I feel like you're the only guy I've ever met that's in a time machine. Like, you're able to be around the people you want to become and you do it so quickly. I would tell you that, your last gentleman you had was talking about relationships, meeting the people, going back to the the ground roots of marketing. And that's what I'm doing. But listen, I win on Google. I mean, I'm using the right software. I'm getting more reviews with pictures in them. I'm building more links and better content and load speed. You know, I don't hire a marketing agency. I work with 15, and I got a strong marketing team internally. And it all reports up to me, not the COO, no one else. All of marketing reports up to me. I'm hiring better. I'm training. I'm doubling down. I'm looking at 4 major KPIs: my booking rate, my conversion rate, my average ticket, and my cost per lead. And that's how I make decisions. I've got 7,000 call tracking numbers. And look, I still feel like I'm tiny. I will sell more doors than anybody on the planet next year. No one company anywhere in the world will sell more than me. And I still feel like I'm getting started. There's a lot of people I know that can't hit 1 million that are already just, they're overwhelmed. And it's because I hire people that are smarter than me. And my CFO could run circles around me. I built an org chart. I found the stuff I hate. I circled it, and I found the best of the best. People make a lot of money. They've got equity in the company. They've got performance, that massive bonuses. And they're literally, when I started hiring people 10 times smarter than me at every role, that I feel stupid when I talk to them. So many people are afraid, well, what if this guy or gal comes in and they're smarter than me? What happens? Well, they're afraid of it. They don't want to be the dumb guy in the room. I want to be the dumbest. My job as a CEO is to make myself, I'm the orchestrator. I got to paint the vision. I want to be the dumbest guy in the room. And I'm not afraid of that. I embrace it. But as far as marketing goes, like, look, we do everything. We still do Yellow Book in Albuquerque. We try things every day and we fall down sometimes. We do TV, radio, billboards. We do social media. We do OTT. We do Valpak, Money Mailer, Clipper, Welcome Home. We do, you name it. But the foundation of and we do all kinds of relationships. We do nonprofits. We do it's an omni approach. And when the economy tanks, if it does, I'm going to double down on marketing. You know, most people are afraid to fire the people that have been loyal to them, even though those people aren't loyal back. What you do is you make a spreadsheet, you put every employee of every category, and you rate them 1 out of 10. And you start cutting because it's the best thing for the clients. It's the best thing for the company, because last thing you cut is marketing. And you think these people are loyal, but they don't show up to meetings. They're not giving you their all. They're not fighting for the clients. They're not saying, what is it going to take to earn your business? They're not booking every call like it's the last call they'll ever get. And so people feel loyalty because they have tenure. But I'll tell you this, the people that I'm loyal to, they want more. They try harder. They're there. They're going to show up. If they got a will, I'll find a way. But I don't believe in tenure. I believe in meritocracy. You come in, you could earn as much as anybody else. My job, someone could take my job. And this is not, it's not a family. It's a team. And the coach gets fired sometimes. And when people realize that they're the problem, when they look in the mirror and they say, maybe it's me, maybe the reason I can't hire anybody good is because I'm not a good coach, because I don't have understanding, because I haven't really done it. People hire when they need somebody instead of always being recruiting. People always wonder, like, they feel like someone did this to them, like God's angry at them or something because their business is shit. Look in the mirror and say, this is what I've done. The minute, you know, the 12-step process in AA and all that stuff, the first thing is admitting you have a problem. Everybody else points, it's Ukraine, it's Biden, you got to understand it was a cool winter this year. They got every reason why it's not them. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's you. And if the other people are winning in your industry, ServiceTitan said 80% of people are on the decline. I talked to the founder of ServiceTitan yesterday. He said, we're the #1 company in ServiceTitan's growth right now, organically, without acquisitions. And he goes, dude, I'll put my money on you any day of the week. And I didn't need to hear that. And I'm not bragging here. And I'm not trying to talk down to people and be negative. I'm just telling the facts. It's my best friends, my family that's important to me. They tell me the truth. They don't have to sugarcoat it.
Love that. I want to be respectful of your time, Tommy. I know you have a stop at 4 o'clock here. If you have time for one more question, I have it, but if you've got to run, that's cool. I just want to know, you know, with hundreds and hundreds of people that you employ and are constantly employing, Chad, Faith, and I, we've all visited your headquarters out at A1 and have seen your training building, your $6 million building next to your main offices. I mean, what's the training process and programs like to ensure that your team is not only continuing to maintain an excellent culture, but to maintain that high level 5-star service that leads to repeat referral business growth?
When I built that training center, I had a vision to build something world class where not only people wanted to work, but they were wowed. They said, well, we're this special. We get to come to a place like this. I pay them to come in and train, unlike HVAC, plumbing, electrical, where you got to go pay a school to learn. I wanted to build something world class. I still think we can do better. I always will. I'm always still learning. I'm a student for life. But I'll tell you this, training is a way of life. When you play football, when you play baseball, you practice more than you play. It's not just something we do. It's our culture. It's who we are. And I'm hiring 6 more trainers. And we're going to, you got to have a clean shave or a clean beard, and you got to cover tattoos. That's the new policy we're rolling out. Because our customers, we want that red carpet, white glove service. We want to be the best of the best. We're no slouches. And we're going to excel. I've got so much software. We're a technology company now to make sure our guys are doing the right thing. We're offering coffee on the way, and we're smiling, and we're genuinely interested in the other person. And that takes a lot. Personality profiling. We train people for 1 month in their market, 1 month in Phoenix, 1 month of polishing, 90 days. And then training is mandatory every day. It's not just some days. I mean, yeah, if you're off that day, you don't have to train. But training is not like something we do when we're ready and we're having bad results. It's a culture. And to train is to practice. If you worked out and you're on a pretty big health kick like I am, did you see a lot of results after 15 days of working out?
No.
Would the body transform? Will it transform a lot in a month and a half?
Well, in a month and a half, a lot. Yeah. You'll start to see
It
results.
might be a month and a half, but in a year, you won't even recognize yourself.
Yeah, true.
How do you think people do a training? You think they just say, hey, you're trained now, you're go practice in the customer's house? Or it's the same thing. You got to eat healthy. You got to do cardio every day. You got to give stuff up. That's what technicians and installers and CSRs and dispatchers need. They need to fight for the client. They need to be genuinely interested in the best result, and they need to give options. Because if you're not giving options in the home, you're giving ultimatums. They can either say yes or no. If you're not giving options, you're losing your ass. And look, I love helping people out. You know, anybody's allowed to do a shop tour. I did a podcast with a guy doing almost 600 million. His name's Leland Smith. He's out of Southern California. The guy is the GOAT. He's in his 70s now, I think. He's going to be at my next event. But he talked to me that every guy used to go in and train for 2 hours. They come in between 6:30 and 8:30 in the morning. We're incorporating things that he's done because I respect him and he's got the results. So many people they're focused on working in their business. They're not going to your event. You want to know why? Because they're not making money and they're too busy. The people that continue to do these things, you know, a mistake made more than once is a choice, I think. And people choose not to come. They can't afford it. There's nothing they feel like they can learn. But they're not making any money. The company's worth zero. By the way, when I buy your company, I'm going to take out how much you make if you're not going to be there. So let's say you're bringing in 500 grand and you pay yourself 150. I'm not giving, I got to pull out that 150 to replace you. Most companies in the garage door industry, maybe it's true in the moving company, are only worth their phone number. They're worth 20 grand is what I'll pay you. And they go, what about my 50,000 customers? It's worth nothing. Your website sucks. Your trucks are old and used. Your talent is piss poor. What am I buying? You haven't made good choices. And some people are ready to retire saying this is my number one asset, but it's not worth any money. So you better make some great decisions. And this is tough love. And I know people might think I'm a douchebag, but I just want to be straightforward and honest with people because people are honest with me. But I know I went too far here, but I want you to know that I have the best intentions. Blue collar, I'm a blue collar guy, blood in, blood out. Like, I have a big heart for people and I want to see them win. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I help people all the time. I jump on calls and podcasts and I speak at events because I'm here to make change. I believe it's our time. It's our chance. This is the best time ever to be in home service. We're essential. We're valued. It's the golden era. 10,000 baby boomers a day retired. 12% of them own a business. They don't have a plan. This is it. I'm just asking you to start thinking differently and make an effort to want more. You deserve it. Your family deserves it. Break that family curse. Change the generational wealth. Your family's depending on you. Make good decisions. I wouldn't be here right now. I'm going to get coached all over the United States. I've got 4 business coaches. Look, I'm always going to have a coach. So did Kobe Bryant. So did Michael Jordan. Why wouldn't you go to this event? Because you're busy. And you're always going to be busy. And 5 years from now, you're going to be doing the same thing. You've got it. This now more than ever. You better be making the right decisions.
Love it. Tommy Mello, he's going to be headlining the Moving Titan Retreat October 2nd to the 4th. If you guys don't know Tommy, go check him out on my podcast. We recorded one about a year ago. And then he's got one of the top Apple ranked business podcasts on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the podcast platforms. It's the Home Service Expert Podcast. I'm going back through to the beginning and listening to every single episode and can't wait for them to drop on Fridays. So he's got, I mean, he aligns himself with the top people, not only in home services, but in business and celebrities. I mean, there's this guy is well connected. He's going to be at the event. You'll be able to hang out with him. He'll be speaking both days. And, you know, I still learn from Tommy every single day. Tommy, thank you so much for joining us here on this webinar. I know you're a busy man and you got to run. So we're going to be doing a giveaway now. And I'll toss it back over to Ryan to give away a ticket to the event that Tommy's going to be speaking at.
Wow, guys, this was awesome. Absolutely incredible. Some extremely powerful nuggets were dropped here today. And I wish we had more time to answer all the great questions that were posted. And I gotta say, we should absolutely do this again. Have a little bit more time to answer some of the audience questions. So thank you all. As a reminder, all the questions that we didn't get to today, we will, and we'll send them over via email. Give us a couple days to paw through these, get the questions distributed, and we will have those answers over to you. So now it's time to announce our winner for the free ticket to the upcoming Moving Titan Retreat. Again, happening October 2nd through the 4th in sunny Tampa, Florida. So our winner, congratulations to Ben Godfredson. And I hope I said your name right, Ben. I apologize if I didn't, but Ben Gottfredson, Gottfredson. I will be reaching out to you shortly after this to send you your ticket. Now for the rest of you, if anybody has any interest in heading out to Tampa and weren't lucky enough as I am to win a free ticket in today's giveaway, Supermove has you covered. So Supermove is offering special conference pricing to the upcoming retreat at $500 off the ticket price. So each ticket purchase will also come with 1 month free of Tighten Up training. So if you would like to attend, please either scan the QR code that's on the screen, and I'll leave it up here for a few seconds, or you can also send me an email at ryan@supermove.com. Again, that's Ryan, RYAN, @supermove.com, and I'll send you the link to sign up at the discounted rate. In closing, you know, I want to give a huge thank you to all of our panelists, JC, Nick, Chad, Tommy, and Wade for being our super maestro throughout this afternoon here. You guys all shared some incredible insights today. And also thank you to all of you for attending the Fireside Chat. I know for a lot of us, it's still in peak season. We're still running around like crazy, but we had quite a few hundred of you all to stay live on with us throughout the entire time. So thank you so much. But, you know, there was some serious juice that was squeezed today in this jam-packed session, and we hope you all can drive away with actionable things that you can implement immediately. And as a last reminder, this recording will be emailed to all registered attendees, so you can watch it again or you can share it with your team. Also, stay tuned for an upcoming Moving Revenue Summit, which Supermove is hosting virtually on September 18th with our partners LiveSwitch and MovingLetters.ai. Thank you all for joining, and we hope to see you up at the upcoming Tighten Up Retreat in Tampa, Florida. Thank you all.